longer you can. And some of you are simply curious. You heard about this, something caught your attention and you decided to show up and find out more. Whatever brought you here today, I just want you to know this session was designed with you in mind. We are not going to throw numbers at you. We are not going to tell you this will change your life overnight. What we are going to do is to give you a clear, honest picture of how this business works and let you decide if it makes sense for you. So take a breath and you are in the right place.
All right, so before we dive in, I want to set one simple expectation for today. We are not here to convince you of anything. Once again, I have to highlight that. Our only goal is to share how this framework works clearly and honestly, so that by the end of this session, you have enough clarity to decide for yourself whether this is worth exploring further. All right, so you don't have to agree with everything we share. You don't have to decide anything today. So all I ask is this: stay open, just listen with a curious mind, because the people who get the most out of session like this are not the one who already have all the answer. They are the one who come in willing to consider something different. So take notes if you want, get ready your pen and paper, drop your thoughts in the chat, and let's have a real conversation.
Okay, let's start with something I think many of you will relate to immediately. People today are working harder than ever, and I think most of us in this room know that is true. Am I right? If you agree, give me a thumbs up in the chat. For those maybe your first time to give a thumbs up, you can see at the bottom of your screen, you will see the reaction button. Click on it, then select the thumbs up icon and press on it. Okay? Good. I see you.
Thanks.
Now, before we go into the details of what we are sharing today, I want to ask you something a little more personal. What actually brought you here today? Was it the pressure of rising costs and feeling like your salary is just not stretching far enough anymore? Was it the idea of having more time, more flexibility, more control over how you spend your days? Or maybe you have been thinking about what happens if your income suddenly stops and that thought keep you up at night. Whatever it is, go ahead and type in the chat. There are no right or wrong answer. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I want you to notice something. Look at the chat. Different people, different reasons, but there is a thread running through almost all of them. People are not just looking for money. They are looking for more options, more security, more breathing room, and that is exactly what today is about. Because here is the truth that many of us have felt, but not always said out loud. The environment around us has changed. The cost of living keeps rising. Jobs that used to feel stable now feel less predictable. Many of us are trading our time, energy for a fixed salary that simply does not keep up with real life anymore. And at the same time, our priorities are shifting. We want more time with our children, our parents, with the people who matter. We want to stop missing the moment that cannot be replayed. And then there is retirement. For many people, that conversation now brings more anxiety than peace. So the real questions on the table today is not whether things are getting harder. We all feel that already, actually. The real question is there another structure, a different way of working that gives us more options, more flexibility, and more peace of mind? That is what we are going to explore together today.
And that question that Francisca just asked, whether there is another structure that gives us more options, I want to answer that from a very personal place. Because I am not going to stand here and tell you this work from a textbook. I'm going to tell you it works because I lived through the alternative and I know exactly what it feels like to be on the wrong side of that question. So let me introduce myself properly. I'm Elaine, a full-time working mom of 3, close to 30 years in the corporate world. And for the longest time, my life looked perfectly fine from the outside. All right, stable job, regular income. I'm a responsible adult, ticking all the boxes. But there were nights, many nights, after the kids were asleep, where I sat at the table, look at the bills, looking at the calendar, and thought to myself, how am I still feeling this stretch after working this hard for this long? I had a salary, I have a title, but I didn't have much choices. And that scared me more than any bill could ever, do to me. Not the numbers on the page, but the feeling that no matter how hard I work, I was not building anything that gave me real options. I tried side hustle along the way. Some make a little money, most didn't. And every time one didn't work out, I didn't just lose money. I lost time. I could have spent it with my kids, with my loved ones. I lost sleep. I lost a little bit of confidence gradually, at every time. So when I came across this business framework, I tell you my honest reaction, my first honest reaction was not excitement. It was like, well, here we go again. What's next? So, but I was at a point where I was more afraid of staying stuck than being wrong one more time. And I told myself something very simple. Just understand it properly before you decide. And that's all. No pressure, just clarity once again. And that one decision became one turning point I didn't even know I was waiting for. This business helped me clear my debts. It gave me back control over my time. And for the first time in a very, very long time, I stopped dreading the first of the month, the first day of the month. But more than the money, what changed was this. I stopped feeling trapped. You can see it right there on the slide. All right, so from corporate burnout to freedom, from survival mode to having actual choices again, those words didn't come from a copywriter. They came from what I lived through. And from the slide, you can also see, my family, my children, and they are my why right there. They are the very reason I kept showing up when it was hard. And they are the reason I am here sharing this with you today. Okay, so now I want to ask something before we move on. That feeling I described of working hard, doing everything right, and still feeling like you have no real options. How many of you actually felt that too? Go ahead, drop a yes in the chat. Just drop it. Feel free that this 1 hour plus session is for you to really, put yourself out there, be vulnerable, and acknowledge, what you are feeling right now. Okay, so, and I want you to know that feeling is not a reflection of how capable you are. It is a reflection of the structure that you are working within. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about next, because once I understood it, everything started to make sense. Okay, so next slide. Why are so many people today, people just like us, exploring online business? It's not because that we want to work less. I want to be very clear about that. Okay, it's because we want to work within a structure that actually gives us something back. Think about it this way. Who's here can leave the house without their phone today? Go on, be very honest with yourself. And seriously, I can tell you, none of us. Because the world has moved online. The way people buy, learn, connect, and build has fundamentally shifted. And that shift has opened a door that simply did not exist the way it does now. Online business today allows you to work from different locations, manage a flexible schedule around your family, use automation so your business does not stop when you do. And it reach people beyond your immediate circle or country and build a system that continues working even though when you're not. But here is what I want you to really hear. This is not about escaping work. Nobody is promising you a life on the beach doing nothing. I wish, but you can't. Okay, so it is about building something within a different structure, a structure where your effort compounds over time instead of resetting every month when your salary comes in and goes straight back out again. So that is the difference. And I think the best way to bring this to life is not just through my story, but through someone who has walked this path from a completely different starting point. So Francisca came into this not as a business person, not as someone with a background in marketing or sales. She came in as someone who, like many of us, spent years of building a career only to have one unexpected moment shake everything she thought was stable. Francisca, over to you.
Yes, for me, this is just very practical. Yes, I'm Francisca here. I work full-time in education. I believe many of you here are in the same situation I was in. My income stopped the moment I stopped working. For more than 20 years, I show up, work hard, and at the end of every month, I got paid. Sounds fine, right? But I never really felt it until COVID forced me to. Everything I had built for more than 20 years was resting on one single source, my job. The moment that stopped, everything stopped with it. The income stopped, but the expenses didn't. I watched my saving drain much faster than I ever expected during COVID time. The panic set in, and it forced me to look for another options. I tried many things, but the result was never stable and the income was never enough. And the worst part was doing all that alone with no guidance, no system. And I was spending so much of my time for so little in return. And deep down, I knew something had to change. Then I came across this business model, and that stood out to me was not the income potential. It was the fact that there was already a system, a clear step-by-step framework to follow. And then when it all made sense to me, I didn't need to quit my job or turn my life upside down. I just needed something simple, already set, and easy to follow. 1 to 2 hours a day in my own time was all it took. Excuse me. And I say this from the bottom of my heart. It is already working. I have been able to travel, to rest, and to live a life more freely. And honestly, the thing that made the difference was not talent. It was not luck. It was not even timing. It was simply having a system that was already built and a community that made sure I did not have to figure it out alone. So let me walk you through exactly what that system looks like. Because I think once you see how it's structured, a lot of things will start to make sense. Let me bring everything we have shared so far into something very simple and clear. Most people do not fail at business because they are not capable. I want you to really hear that. They fail because they start from scratch, figure things out alone, and make expensive mistakes along the way. And without anyone to guide them, most people quietly give up before they ever see results. This is really my personal experience. What we are sharing here is different. This framework is built on 3 things working together: training, mentorship, and a global system that is already in place. So instead of waking up every day asking yourself, can I actually do this? The better question becomes, if the system is already done, can I follow it? Let me ask you honestly, if a complete business was already structured for you today, would you rather build everything yourself from zero? Or would you rather plug into something that already works? Think about what a traditional business actually looks like. Rental costs, inventory, live streaming and selling every single day, managing shipping and returns, handling difficult customers. That is the reality for many types of online businesses today. And most people who start that way burn out long before they see any real return. What we are showing you today is how none of that is necessary. There is a structure framework that removes all of that and will give you a real business to build.
All right, so now this is where a lot of people get stuck. And I want to address it directly because I felt this too. When people first hear about a system like this, the mind immediately goes, but I have no experience. I'm not tech savvy. I wouldn't even know where to begin. All right, sound familiar? Drop a yes in the chat. I'm going to put a big yes there, when I started, because I feed everyone, every single point. All right. And I hear you. And I want to reframe something for you. You don't need to know everything before you start. You just need to know what to do next. That's it. One step at a time. And that is exactly what this system gives you. There is a step-by-step web-based training you can go through at your own pace from your phone, from your laptop, whenever you have pocket of time. There is mentorship, a real person you can go to when you feel stuck. So you are never have to sit alone wondering what to do. There are automated tools that keep things running in the background so your time stays free. And there is a community around you, people at different stage of the same journey showing up, sharing, and moving forward together. So the requirement here was never about experience or technical knowledge. The only requirement is a willingness to learn and to apply what you learn consistently. That is something every single person in this room already has the ability to do.
Now I want to address something that I know is sitting in the back of some of your minds right now. Do I need to create my own product? And I want to be completely transparent with you here because I think honesty is what builds real trust, right? This business framework does include a global partner company. We are not here to hide that because every real business is built around something of value. That is just the nature of business. But here is where most people get it wrong. The moment they hear, the moment they hear the word product, the mind immediately goes, do I need to sell? Do I need to push this to my friends and family? Am I going to become that person? And I completely understand that reaction. I had it too. But here's the difference. In a traditional model, everything revolves around selling, pushing, chasing, and you are always one step away from making someone feel uncomfortable, including myself. In this framework, the focus is not the product. The focus is the system. The product is already established, already proven, already part of a global structure. You do not create it, manage it, store it, or ship it. Your role is to understand how the system works, position the business correctly, and let the system do what it was built to do. Think of it this way. You cannot run an engine without fuel. But nobody asked the driver to build the engine or refine the fuel. They simply learn to drive well. The product is the fuel here. The system is the engine. And your job is to learn to drive it. And that is what makes this different from anything most people have tried before.
Okay, so who is this actually for? Because I know some of you are sitting here thinking, well, this probably works for a certain type of people, but maybe not someone like me. I had that exact thought. And I want you to show you something that changed my mind. Take a look at the screen right now. These are not influencers. These are not marketing expert or business school graduate. These are not people who had a head start or having any special advantages. These are ordinary people. People with a full-time job, people with family, with responsibility and very spare little time. People who were once skeptical, just like you might be right now. We have teachers, engineers, nurses, accountants, sales executive, stay-at-home mom, caregiver, even retirees. Okay, different ages, different background, different starting point. And every single one of them came in with their own reason of starting. Some wanted more income to ease the pressure at home. Some wanted more time with their children or with their aging parents. Some simply wanted a backup plan because they had seen what happened when a job disappeared without warning. The reasons are all different, but here is what I find really remarkable. Every single one of them used the exact framework to get started. Not a different version for each background, not a customized path for each profession. The same system, the same structure, the same steps. Okay, so because why? This framework was not built for a specific type of people. It was built for anyone who is willing to show up, follow the steps, and stay consistent. Oh, well, okay, so if that sounds like you, keep listening.
And what makes this even more powerful is that this is not happening in one city or one country. What you are seeing here is a global community. People from across the world, different time zone, different culture, different languages, all building within the same framework, all moving forward together. And because this is a system-based business, your market is not limited to where you live. You are not restricted to your office network, your neighborhood, or the people you already know. Your reach becomes genuinely global. But honestly, for me, the part that matters most is not the scale. It is the fact that you are not doing this alone. There is a community around you. There is mentorship. There are people who started exactly where you are sitting right now, who are simply a few steps further down the road and who are willing to show you the way. And I think that is something a lot of us have been missing in the things we tried before. Not just a system, but people, real people in your corner who want to see you succeed. So by now you have seen different people, different backgrounds, different countries, all using the same framework and building real results. And I imagine a question is forming in your mind right now is, can I actually do this too? I want to answer that honestly. And the honest answer is not everyone will. We say that not to discourage you. We say it because we believe clarity matters more than convincing. So let Elaine tell you exactly who this is for and who this is not suitable for.
So, okay, I appreciate Francisca's honesty here because I am going to be very honest with you too. This is not for everyone. And I would rather tell you now than waste your time pretending otherwise. This is not for someone who is looking for fast money. If you want something that pays out big by next week, this is not it. And this is not for someone who wants overnight success without putting in the work. This system removes the guesswork, but it does not remove the effort. And this is, of course, not for someone who is not willing to learn something new, because there will be learning curve. It is not steep, but it is real. So if any of those describe you, that is okay, but this is probably not the right fit. However, if you are someone who is open to learning, even if you feel like a complete beginner right now, this could be for you. And if you prefer to have clear structure to follow rather than figuring everything out alone, this could be for you. If you want to build something real alongside your current job and commitments without having to quit or turn your life upside down, this could be for you. And if you understand that consistency over time matters far more than speed, this could be absolutely for you, because this is not about doing more with the little time you already have. It is about doing the right things within a proven structure so that your effort actually builds towards something instead of just keeping you busy. Okay, so let me ask you something. And I want you to be honest with yourself right now, not with me. Are you that type of person who fits? Okay, sit with that for a moment, because we are going to share next. It's not about asking you to start. It is about giving you the clearest possible picture so you can make a real decision, not an emotional one, not a pressured one, a proper informed one. And that starts with understanding exactly why this system works the way it does.
So we have talked about who this is for, and we have talked about what this framework looks like. But I think there is a question underneath all of that which nobody has asked out loud yet. Why does this actually work? Because let's be real, there are a lot of things online today, right? A lot of opportunity, a lot of platforms, a lot of people telling you they have found the answer. So what makes this one different? Why are people from completely different backgrounds, different country, different life situation able to stay consistent and actually build something real over time? I want to answer that honestly because I asked myself the exact same question before I started. And the answer is what convinced me. In a traditional job, you are paid for your time. You show up, you work, you get paid, and there is nothing wrong with that, right? Most of us have built our lives around exactly that model. But the limitation is simple. When your time stops, your income stops. Full stop. Now compare that to a system-based model, where the effort you put in today does not just pay you today, it builds something that continues working in the background, even when you are not actively in front of the screen. And I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds too good to be true. So let me be very specific about what I mean. This is not passive income with zero effort. I want to be clear about that, yeah? You still have to show up. You still have to learn and apply. But the difference is that what you build does not reset to zero every month, the way a salary does. Think about it this way. In a job, every new month starts from the same place. Same salary, same ceiling, no matter how hard you worked last month. In a system-based business, every month builds on the one before it. That is the real difference. And that is why people stay. So now the questions become, what specifically makes this system work? Because it is one thing to say a system exists, it is another to show you exactly why it holds people up instead of letting them fall through. Well, Elaine, let's break down.
Thank you, Francisca. This works, but not because that it is easy. I want to be clear about that. It works because it is specifically designed to remove the exact reason most people fear. And when you understand those reasons, the system starts to make a lot more sense. The first reason most people never start is that they do not know what to do. They have the interest, but not the direction. Every day they wake up meaning to do something and not knowing where to begin. And that is why this system has a clear step-by-step structure. You do not have to figure out what comes next. You just follow what is already laid out. One step, then the next, then the next. The second reason people get stuck is they feel overwhelmed. They think they need to be creative. They think they need to know how to write or design or come up with content ideas from scratch every single day. And that is where AI tools comes in. Not to replace your effort, but to support it, to help you with ideas, with structures and execution, so you are not starting from zero every single day. And the third reason people quit is they are doing it completely alone, not and isolation is one of the most underestimated reason people gives up. Not because the business stopped working, but because there was nobody there when things got hard or confusing. Here, you have mentorship, you have a community, When you hit a wall, you do not stop. You ask, you get the clarity, and you keep moving. And the fourth reason, the one that stops a lot of people before they even begin. Make a guess, what is it? Risk. What if I lose the money? What if I invest time and it goes nowhere? I understand that fear deeply because I was at that stage too. I felt it too. But allows me to be direct. This is not trading. This is not crypto. This is not speculation where you are putting money on an outcome you cannot control. You are learning a proven system and applying it. The risk here is not financial ruin. The risk is that you put in the effort and it takes longer than you hope. And that is a very different kind of risk from the ones people most are imagining. So if you look at all of this together, this is not about luck. It is not about talent. It is not even about the timing. It is about having the right structure, the right support, and the right environment to stay consistent long enough for it to work. And now, I know some of you still have questions sitting quietly at the back of your mind, something you have not yet asked, but it is there. Is this going to feel like selling? Am I going to have to approach people and push something on them? Is there a hidden pressure underneath all of this? Let's answer that directly.
Yes, let's address this fully because this matters. I know that for many people in this room, there is a specific kind of discomfort that comes up when they think about business, especially online business. Because many of us have been approached before by someone we know with something that felt exciting at first and then slowly started to feel like pressure. Like we were being pushed towards a decision we were not ready to make. Like the relationship was secondary to the outcome. And that experience leaves a mark. It makes people cautious and honestly it should. So I want to be completely transparent with you about what this is and what this is not. This is not a model where you chase friends and family. You are not going to be sending forward messages to people you have not spoken to in years. There is no inventory to hold, no monthly sales target to hit, no hierarchy putting pressure on you from above. And there is no culture of pushing people into decision they are not ready for. That is not how this works, and it is not how we work. This framework is system-driven, not pressure-driven. But I also want to be honest about something else because I think real trust requires saying the full picture. This does not mean you do nothing, okay? You are still building a real business. You still need to show up. You still need to learn and apply consistently, as have been mentioned above. The difference is that your results here are not based on who you know or who introduced you. They are based on how well you understand and apply the system. So no shortcuts, no social pressure, no uncomfortable conversation with people you care about. Just you, a proven structure, and the willingness to follow it. So by now you understand how this works, why it works, and what it is not. And I think you are ready for the most practical questions of all. What does it actually take to get started?
Let's talk practically because I think this is the part where some people start to hesitate, and I want to walk you through with it honestly. If someone wanted to start a traditional business today, what would that actually look like? Maybe you need a website, marketing tools, product development or inventory, systems to manage operation, trial and error that costs both time and money. And when you add all of that up, you are easily looking at tens of thousands before you even know if it works. And come on here, I'm being conservative, okay? And even after all of that investment, there is no guarantee. Now, compare that to what we are sharing with you today. You are not being asked to start a business right now. I want to be very clear about that. You are being given the opportunity to understand one properly first. The USD 149 is not a business cost. It is not a membership fee. It is not a deposit towards something you are locked into. Okay, it is your access to clarity. Inside, you will see the full system. Okay, how everything's connect, what is actually required, what the business look like from the inside, and most importantly, whether it genuinely fits your life and your goals. And you have that 30 full days to go through it. No rushing, no pressure, no one is standing over your shoulder. So if after going through everything, you feel that it is not for you, you can walk away. The option is there. But here is the question. I want you to sit with it for a moment. Most of us spend more than USD 149 in a month without a second thought. On food, on subscriptions, on things we forget about by the following week. And yet, when it comes to investing in understanding something that could genuinely change the structure of your financial future, we hesitate. I am not saying this to make you feel guilty. I am saying it because I was exactly the same. And looking back, the cost of not understanding this sooner was far greater than that USD 149. So instead of asking, what if this doesn't work? I want to invite you to ask a different question. What if you never take the step to understand it properly? What does staying exactly where you are today actually cost you over the next year, the next 5 years? That is the real question on the table.
And if you have been following along today, I think you already sense the answer to that question. Because at this point, you do not need more information. You have heard the stories, you have seen the framework, you understand why this works and what it is not. What you need now is clarity from the inside. And that is exactly what this next steps gives you. The USD 149 access is not asking you to commit to a business today. It is asking you to do one thing. Understand it properly before you decide. Here is what happens once you get access. You go through a complete guided walkthrough of the full system, not bits and pieces, but the full picture laid out clearly. You see exactly how everything connects and what is required at each stage. Okay? You connect with a mentor who will walk alongside you, and you take your own time to evaluate whether this fits your life. No one is going to chase you. No one is going to pressure you into the next step before you are ready. This is a 30-day window for you to look at everything properly. Ask your questions and make a real decisions based on full understanding. And I want to say something honestly. The people who tend to regret this are not the ones who went in and decided it was not for them. Those people walk away with clarity, and that is a good outcome. The people who often regret it later are those who felt interested today, felt this might be worth exploring, but they let hesitation stop them from taking even a small first step. So if something in today's session resonates with you, do not let that feeling pass without acting on it. This is your next step, and it starts with one simple decision.
Let me show you exactly what you are getting access to, because I want you to walk into this with full clarity. You will receive a complete guide walkthrough of the entire system, not a highlight reels, not a sales presentation. The actual full picture of how everything works and connects behind the scene. You will see the training structure laid out step by step, so you know exactly what the learning journey looks like and what is expected of you at each stage. You will have ongoing mentorship and support. A real person in your corner who has walked this path and can guide you through the parts that feels confusing or uncertain. And you have 30 days to go through all of it at your own pace. So you are not rushing into anything. You are not making a blind decision. you are giving yourself the proper time and space to evaluate this with full information in front of you. And if after all of that, you feel it is not the right fit, you can step away. That is a legitimate outcome and we respect it completely. This is what I mean when I say this is a free risk managed way to explore something. Not a pressured decision, not a leap of faith, a clear, informed steps forward with a safety net underneath it. Now, let me take a step back for a moment and look at the full picture of what has been shared today. You are not looking at just an idea. You are looking at a complete framework that already exists, that has already been built, tested, and proven by real people across different countries and backgrounds. The system is already structured. The training is already in place. The mentorship, the community are already there waiting for you. And this is designed to fit into your current life, not to replace it, not to disrupt it, fit into it, starting with just 1 to 2 hours a day from wherever you are without needing to change everything immediately. And as people stay consistent, apply the system and build over time, this is where the income begins to grow progressively. For some, eventually reaching an additional 4 to 5 figures in monthly income stream, or even more. I am not going to put a number on what that means for you specifically because results depends on effort, consistency, and application, and that part is yours to own. But what I can tell you is this: the framework is there, the support is there. The only thing missing right now is your decision to understand it properly. So ask yourself one honest question again. Does this make sense for me to explore further? If the answer is yes, even quietly, even with uncertainty, that is enough to take the next step.
All right. This is the moment where everything we have shared today starts becoming real, okay? The stories, the framework, the honest conversation about what this is and what this is not. It has all been leading to these one simple questions. Are you ready to properly evaluate this for yourself? Today, is USD 149. Excuse me, I have a bad cough today. Today, this USD 149 is not committing to start a business. What you are buying is an access. Access to evaluate a business framework that has already built for you. A framework that will provide you your website, your sales funnels, your CRM system, your email automations, your training platform, your mentorship, and a global business partnership. When you choose to eventually start after the full evaluation, with everything already done up, so you are not starting from scratch. And most importantly, this is a business designed to fit into real life. A business that can be built with just 1 to 2 hours a day, while you continue your job, your family, and your current responsibilities. So if you are ready, take out your phone right now, open your camera and scan the QR code on the screen. Okay? Scan the QR code on the screen. Or if you are already on your phone, you can access the purchase link in the chat. Yeah. Take your time, go through it properly, and once you have done completely your access, type down in the chat. Or connect directly with the person who invited you today, and we will personally guide you on your next step. Because you will not be doing this alone. That is our promise. And for those of you who are still processing, that is completely okay. Take the next few minutes, sit with what you felt today, think about the question Elaine asked earlier. What does staying exactly where you are today actually cost you over the next few years? Sometimes the most important decisions do not come with a lightning bolt moment. Sometimes they come quietly after a session like this. When you sit with it long enough to hear what you already know. We are going to stay on for a few more minutes, so take your time. Complete your access when you are ready. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat right now, and we will answer them before we leave.
Yeah, Francisca, you need to drink more water. She's a very devoted teacher and a very devoted business partner here, right here.
Thank you, Elaine.
Go drink your water. Okay, so we have a question here. Is there more investment like advertisement, etc. involved? Like any real business, if you decided to use advertisements to really ease out your business running operation, of course there is. But if you decided to do organically, you can too. And in the training, that also there's guide inside there. So don't worry about this. You will be guided. Okay, so all right. So far today, you have heard from Francisca and me, two people, two stories, two different paths that lead to the same place. But I want to be honest with you about something. I know that for some of you, hearing from us might still feels like hearing from people who are already on the other side. And sometimes when that happens, a quiet voice in the back of your mind say, well, that's great for them, but my situation is different. I hear that. And I want to speak directly to that voice right now, because the people you're about to hear from are not speakers, they are not coaches or business experts. They did not come. Okay, I have to rephrase back. Janice is one of the speakers. She's a coach in the business. All right, okay. They did not come from a background that make things easier for them. They are ordinary people who were sitting in exactly the seats you are in right now, not so long ago. Some of them started while working full-time with barely any spare hours in the day. Some are parents who were already stretched beyond what felt manageable. Some had no prior experience with online business, no technical background, and honestly, no idea if they could do this. But they all made one decision that changed things. They chose to understand this properly instead of letting uncertainty make the decision for them. So as you listen to them, I want to ask you to do one thing. Do not focus on their result, not yet. Focus on where they started. Focus on what they were feeling at the beginning. Focus on the moment they decided to take the first step, despite not having all the answer. Because that moment, the one where they said yes to understanding more, is the same moment you are standing at right now. Let me invite our panelists to share their experience with you. All right, so let me introduce our first panelist. Her name is Angelica. She is a single mom of two, and her reason for starting this was not ambition or opportunity. It was a moment that forced her to choose between her job and her family. Angelica, come on screen. Over to you.
Thanks, Elaine. And thank you for having me here today to actually share my story with everyone. As Elaine mentioned, I'm just an ordinary person who, started this business not long ago, probably about 2 years plus now. So hi, everybody. My name is Angelica. I'm a single mom, as mentioned by Elaine, with 2 kids. And really, everything I do today is for my kids, right? And for my family, just making sure that they are okay, and they are happy. But believe it or not, this was not actually, something that I think about all the time. It all started actually during the pandemic. And it's not because I lost my job, but because of, how I saw my other colleagues, friends, that actually, had no jobs, right? Eventually, one day they were working, and then the next day they were not working. And I remember, I started to think, what happens if this actually happened to me, right? And it's very real. It can happen to me too. And that thought actually stayed in my mind. But like many people, I didn't act on it immediately. I was actually busy, comfortable, and honestly, I just kept delaying. Then, something really happened that actually changed everything for me. My mom actually fell very sick, and suddenly my time was not my time anymore. It's no longer mine. I was working, taking care of my kids, and at the same time, I was rushing back and forth to support my mom. There were also days that I felt that I was just everywhere, at work, at home, as a daughter, as a mom. And in the end, I made a very difficult decision or difficult choice. I decided to leave my job, not because I wanted to, but more so because at that moment, family came first. When things became a little bit more stable, my mom was a little bit better, then I tried going back to work. But that was when, reality really hit me, because it was really, really difficult to get a job at my age. We received many rejections. And that was when, at that particular point, I realized that I needed to do something. I needed to change. That's when, I started looking out to do something, online. I didn't actually start immediately. I was very, very careful. I took my time to understand, to learn, and to actually see if this business was actually real. But then once I understood of how this works, then it just made more sense, right? Because everything nowadays we do is online, right? So building something digital is, really not longer a trend anymore. It's more of a direction of the future. So what I like most about this business is that flexibility, right? As you know, where I'm a mom of two and I have also my mom to take care. So I have that flexibility. I can build this business step by step, without giving up my responsibilities at home. I don't have to worry about, the shop or the staff or, the heavy costs. It's just now my time, my effort, and my willingness to actually learn this business. The best part also is, of course, I'm not doing this alone. As mentioned, earlier by Elaine and Francisca, the support system here is really very strong. The community, there are people here to actually guide you, train you, and most importantly, I think they don't actually let you feel alone. So today, I'm not here to tell you that this business is easy, or it's easy to make money, but I'm here to actually say that this online business is real and it's possible if you're actually willing to learn and put in an effort and be consistent, as what Elaine mentioned earlier. If you are someone who is worried about your future, or you feel like you need a backup plan, or just want more control over your life, then maybe it's really time to start exploring something different. You don't have to rush. You don't need to be perfect as well. You just need to be open, to learn something new, right? So if my story actually relates to you and you feel the same, do click into that 149 and to learn more about the business. Yeah. So back to you, Francisca.
Thank you, Angelica. Uh, Angelica said something that I believe a lot of people in this room quietly relate to. Sometimes it is not about whether you want to work. It is whether someone is willing to give you that chance again. This is the reality many of us never think about until it is right in front of us. Our next panelist is Doreen. She's a grandmother of two, spent nearly 20 years in banking, and was running a family business of over 40 years when 2020 turned everything upside down. Let's hear from Doreen. Doreen, over to you.
Thank you, Francisca. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Doreen from Singapore. I'm a proud mom to 3 grown children and a grandma to 2 adorable grandchildren. Now, life has never always easy for my family. Sending the 3 children to university was really a big financial responsibility, especially sending the 2 of them to overseas. It cost me a big bomb on my pocket, a big hole. And thankfully, the other one was studying in local. Now, before this, I spent 20 years working in the banking industry, long hours, month-end closing, quarter-end reports, working late became my normal for me. You know, it's just normal to me. Back then, I always thought working in the banking line was very stable and secure. That was my thoughts. So what we call an iron rice bowl, right? But today, we all know nothing is truly guaranteed anymore. So at the same time, I was also helping my family traditional business for more than 40 years. So you know my age, huh? That's not important, okay? So then in 2020, during the worldwide crisis, everything changed. Everything changed for me. Like many families and business owners, we were badly affected too. Business became very difficult, income dropped, and honestly, I felt very lost and worried. At my age, starting over, all over again is not easy. Finding another job is also not easy. But I knew I had to do something because my family still depended on me. There were many sleepless nights, worrying about bills, salaries, rental, suppliers, and wondering how long more I can tolerate. How can we continue like this? As a mom, a business owner, and also a grandma, I felt very stressed and helpless. What hurt me more was seeing my grown-up children also working long hours in the finance industry, always tired and busy. As a mother, of course, I wanted to help them, but I really didn't know how to. One night, during another sleepless night, I was scrolling, through my phone just to relax and play some game, and just wanted to play some games and so that I can fall asleep. And I came across an advertisement about a digital business opportunity. Honestly, my first thought, just like you, maybe you were thinking, is this real? Or could it be another scam? Of course, I ignored it at first. But very funny enough, an ads keep appearing again and again on my handphone. I'm so busy playing my games, why this ad keep coming in? Sometimes some things inside me, I just felt that I should at least take a look and learn about it and learn more. So in fact, my daughter-in-law even at that time even warned me to be careful because there are many scammers nowadays. She was right to worry about me. So, but deep down, I felt I should explore it for myself before making any judgment. So I attended the webinar just like today, saw the business model, understood the system, and finally decided to take a leap of faith and start with the USD 149. Now, looking back today, that decision became a turning point in my life. There is no age limit to learning something new or starting a new dream. I have my dream. I'm not tech savvy person. I'm very scared when it comes to technology. Oh, I'm so scared. But I had very little knowledge about technology or online business because I'm in the banking line, I'm in the traditional business. But what helped me was the step-by-step training, the simple system, the tools, and the support from this friendly global community. I just learned along the way, one step at a time. I started this business on the last day of 2021, 31st December. And now, after 4 years, I'm truly thankful for the flexibility and freedom it had given me. Thank you. Today I can work from home, work from anywhere, and I still have time for my family and my grandchildren. That means a lot to me, a lot more. I always very thankful for the supportive community, people like all these people, because nobody succeeds alone. I can never do it alone. If you are someone looking for flexibility, extra income, or simply wanting to explore something very different, I really encourage you to stay open-minded and take that first step. Great things often begin when we step out of our comfort zone. If a grandma like me can learn this honestly, you can even do better than me. So if my story speaks to you, reach out to the person who invited you here today and ask for more information. Sometimes one small decision can slowly change the direction of your life. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. Back to you, host. Thank you.
Doreen, thank you so much. You really sent tears to my eyes. How am I going to continue? Okay, so here, a grandmother who almost grew past that act and that one decision to just look properly change everything. I think many of you felt that. Doreen, you make me very emotional. Okay. All right. Our next panelist is Janice. She built her career in oil and gas through sheer grit. No strong paper qualification, just hard work. And one person who believed in her. Then the industry crashed. COVID hit. And she found herself as a single income mom wondering what comes next. She started this in her 40s with no tech background. Janice, the floor is yours.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Janice. I'm a mother of two teenage girls, a wife, and also a daughter to aging parents. Like many of you, I wear many hats. Professionally, I come from the oil and gas industry, where Elaine just introduced me, and I spent many years in a fast-paced, high-pressure environment. I'm always on standby, always chasing deadline, always running meetings after meetings, and always up in late nights. The income is good. Whenever I tell people I'm working in the Jurong Island, they were like, wow, inside is gold mine. Okay, the career looks stable from the outside. People need passes to enter the island, but they don't know what's happening inside. Okay, but life always has a way of reminding us what looks secure may always be secure. I joined the company, or I joined that industry, and that year that oil price crashed, immediately the company went bankrupt. I watched colleagues who actually joined the company for 10 years, 15 years, even 20 over years. The only job that they started, right, being asked to leave, that actually was a wake-up call for me. I realized that, working very hard doesn't always guarantee security. And at that period of time, my husband has already stopped working. So as a single income mom, the financial pressure, the responsibility, that stress I was going through, it was very real. It was so scary that I couldn't sleep. I went into depression, and I needed something desperately. I needed help actually. And but I couldn't find it from anyone. So I I share this not because I wanted to quit, but I wanted another options, like I said. And when I came across this digital business, to be honest, I had zero tech background because I studied chemical. I work as an engineer, right? Marketing digital experience is zero to me. And you asked me to build a website back then, I really have no knowledge. I even wouldn't want to know, I wouldn't know where to start. And I was already in my 40s that time. So time was actually limited. And I know I couldn't no longer sit on the fence, and I really need to do something. So to be honest, I didn't watch the webinar like you all. I just jumped into the 149 that was mentioned. because I just wanted to fully understand the business framework and the strategy behind. Anyway, can be refunded, right? So honestly, I came in, I evaluated, I reviewed everything, and that decision changed my moving forward. What really caught the attention was the business framework after fully evaluating it. For the first time, I saw a completely system that was already built, something I didn't have to figure out from scratch, something I could simply learn, simply duplicate it and apply. And what made that even made sense to me was it only required me to it only require 1 to 2 hours a day of my time after the foundation has already been set up. So being a full-time working mom and managing my family, I realized that it actually satisfied a lot of what my needs. So I took that leap, and results are already showing. 5 years into this journey, this business actually surpassed the income that I took 20 years plus in the corporate to build, right? So I actually, in just a short time, I see the result. So the biggest blessing is having choices. And besides that, life has always been throwing us stones when we least expect it. So 2 years ago, my husband not only remained unemployed, he also was diagnosed with cancer. But today I'm deeply grateful that, he's now a cancer survivor. But as many of you know, we still need to walk this journey for another few years before he can be officially cancer-free. And many times I think back and ask myself, what if I didn't start? What if I just kept, stagnant in that 5 years ago situation, just hoping to myself to be safe, hoping myself that I'm not in the retrenched list, and what would happen? And honestly, I cannot imagine that life today if I didn't take the action, didn't start this business, right? This actually gave me the time I needed, the flexibility, the ability to be there for the people that needed my time. And today, if you are here, if you are wondering, if you are still thinking if this worked for me, I think the best thinking is look back into the situation. Why were you here in the first place? Why were you exploring? What is it that you wanted to change? If you're not taking action today, what is going to happen for the next 1 month, 5 months, 1 year, 5 years, and if you're an ordinary mom like me with no tech background, no experience, no marketing experience can do this, and definitely anybody can. Just like Amma shared, Amma can, definitely you can. Okay, thank you everyone. That's my sharing, and back to the host.
Thank you, Janice, for sharing your story so openly. Janice said something that stayed with me. When her husband was diagnosed with cancer, she thought, what if I had waited? Like, this is not just a business reflection, this is a life one. Nobody you heard from today started with certainty. They all started with one decision. And the same decision is sitting in front of you right now. Once again, thank you so much, Angelica, Doreen, and Janice, for sharing so openly and honestly with us today. I want to take a moment to acknowledge something. It takes courage, actually, to share your journey publicly, especially when you are still in the middle of it. And the fact that they show up today to do that for you, for people they have never met, say everything about the kind of community this is. Now, for some of you, listening to those stories just made something clear. Maybe you recognize yourself in one of their starting points. Maybe something they said put words to a feeling you have been carrying for a while. Maybe you are sitting there right now thinking, if they could start from there, maybe I can too. If that is you, I want you to hold on to that feeling. Do not let it fade when this session ends. That feeling is information. It tells you something worth listening to.
You might be in observation mode. Quite ready to take the step yet, but not ready to walk away either. You want to see more. You want to watch how this unfolds for real people over time before you decide. And that is completely valid. We understand that different people need different amounts of time and exposure before a decision feels right. And that is exactly why we have a private community for you to step into. This is not a sales group. There are no daily pitches or pressure messages waiting for you inside. It is simply a space where you can watch real journey unfold. People at different stages sharing what they are building, what they are learning, and how the business actually look in everyday life across different countries and backgrounds. It is a place for you to observe, for you to ask questions quietly and take your time building enough understanding and confidence to decide when you are ready. If that resonates with you, scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the chat. Okay, so when you request to join, please make sure, remember, please indicate the name of the person who invited you in today so we can approve you quickly. All right, the scenario of you forgetting or missing out to indicating the people who invite you in, you may be left there pending what's happening. You are not added in, all right? So remember, put in the name of the person who invited you in, all right? Because here is what I want to ask. Here's what I know from the experience. The people who stay close, who keeps observing and learning even when they are not ready yet, are far more likely to eventually take that step with clarity and confidence than the people who disconnect completely and try to come back cold later. So even if today is not your day to move forward, do not disappear. Stay close, keep watching, and decide when it genuinely feels right for you. All right, so before we close today, I want to say something that I sincerely mean. Thank you for being here, not just for showing up, but for staying, for listening with an open mind, for giving this session your real attention. Thank you so much for that. All right, that alone tells me something about the kind of person you are. You are someone who takes your future seriously enough to explore options. And that is not nothing. That matters. Now, I want to leave you with one honest thought. Today was not about making a decision. Once again, we said that at the beginning and we meant it. But here is the other side of that truth. Clarity without action is just information, and information alone does not change anything. At some point, the step forward has to be taken, not because someone pressured you, not because the timing is perfect, but because you decided that understanding your options properly is worth more than the comfort of staying exactly where you are. That moment is different for everyone, and only you know when it is yours.
And whatever you are feeling right now, whether it is excitement, curiosity, uncertainty, or something you cannot quite name it, all of it is valid. This is new. New things take time to settle, and we respect that completely. But before you close this window today, I want to ask you to do one thing. Reach out to the person who invited you to these sessions, not to make a decision, just to have a conversations. Ask your questions, share what you are unsure about. Let them help you get clarity in your own context, in your own words, at your own pace. You do not have to figure this out alone. This is the whole point of what we have been sharing today.
Okay, so we are going to stay here for a few more minutes. If you are ready to take the next step, the link is in the chat, the QR code is on the screen. Go through it when you are ready and type done so we know you are in. If you are joining our community to observe and learn more, the link for that is in the chat too. We would love to see you inside. And if you are still thinking that it's okay, just do not let too much time pass before you have that conversation with the person who brought you here today.
We genuinely look forward to seeing where this journey takes you. Whenever you are ready, whatever your next step looks like, know that there are real people here ready to walk alongside you. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. It truly means a lot. Take care of yourself, and we will see you on the other side. Bye-bye.